Hello, friends. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Not sure what you are looking this interview, but it's a pleasure to have you here. As you know, we are doing some pre-talks about our Columbus Symphony Orchestra concert on October 22nd, an amazing concert called Echoes of the War, a musical journey of self-reflection. Understanding who we are through music is the full idea. As you know, I am Diego Barbosa-Vásquez, opera orchestra and ballet conductor from Colombia, and I am very, very happy today to have two more amazing guests, players of the orchestra, actually, that has been rehearsing with us for the full cycle. We are preparing in the last rehearsals and a concert for you. Therefore, first of all, thank you so much for being with us today. And let's start. Could you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Sure, I'll go first. Chomping at the bit. I'm Stephanie. I'm a flutist with the orchestra. I've been playing with the Columbus Symphony Orchestra since August of 2021. So it's been 2 years. I am the most recent addition to our 6-person flute section, which is a little insane, but if we weren't allowed to just welcome anyone in the community, then I wouldn't be here. So I'm really grateful for that.
Okay. And you, Barak?
Yeah, so I'm Barak Strand. I'm play bass trombone currently. I joined the Columbus Symphony Orchestra last year, starting out as a substitute for our principal trombonist, and then for one concert, and then I became the substitute assistant principal trumpet, which I then finished last season out with, and then this year I was supposed to be the assistant principal trumpet, and then our bass trombonist had to leave, so I am now currently on my main instrument of bass trombone.
Yeah, that's amazing. I remember our first rehearsals. You were doing the trumpet really well, really well. And then we changed you to the trombone. Wow. Yeah. It's your main instrument. It's very, very amazing to have someone as flexible as you in the brass section. Stephanie, tell us a little bit. You sent me, for the people that doesn't know, we prepare our interviews a little bit so you have a good experience with us. And Stephanie sent me a good biography with so many great things, but I want you to share with our audiences. Tell us your story. Where did you born? Where are your parents from? Where did you study music? How you ended up in music?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Central Indiana. I'm from Carmel. I started flute in our middle school band program. I didn't think I would play flute, but in 5th grade, I was really involved in our local Indianapolis Chinese Community Center organization. And they had a Sunday school, you learn Chinese. And then they also had after school programs. And one of the new additions when I was in 5th grade was bamboo flute. So my parents were like, try this out. It'd be cool. So that's when I first was introduced to flutes in general as an instrument. And I really liked it. And I picked it up really quickly. So in 6th grade, when we had the option of choosing a wind instrument, string instrument, percussion instrument, whatever instrument, I tried on a bunch of different ones. And although I wanted to play a string instrument, the flute just came more naturally to me, obviously. And so I chose that one. I was like, okay, I'll do this. So yeah, I started playing flute. From that point on, really loved it. It was a big part of my life in middle school and high school, played in the ensembles in the school program and various ensembles in the community as well. And then I went to school at Indiana University, where I didn't study music. I went on a different path, but still didn't want to let go of music from my life. So that's when I first got my experience with community orchestras and community ensembles. So I played with the Bloomington Symphony Orchestra during my time as a student in Bloomington, which was really amazing. It's very similar to the Columbus Symphony Orchestra. It was like a really great mix of longtime community members, people that have lived in Bloomington for like decades and have made their home there. There were some grad students from the Jacobs School of Music. There were some like undergrads who, like me, who weren't studying music. So it was like a really big mix. And I really appreciated being able to play with players from all different like backgrounds and skill levels and experiences. Yeah, so that was my first experience at a community ensemble. And then I ended up coming to Columbus as a part of my work. And when I knew I was going to move to Columbus, I was like, the first thing I did was look up, is there a community orchestra? And I found that there was. So I like contacted the president of the board at the time, was like, hey, are there any openings? I would love to play. So that's when I joined.
Wonderful. Yeah. When I was reading that you live here in Bloomington, that was amazing. I am based here in Bloomington. I did my doctorate here. And yeah, the Bloomington Symphony actually is currently conducted by one of my friends, Isaac Terceros. It's a very interesting orchestra, as you say. It is huge. Well, Bloomington is unique because there are so many amazing musicians here. Therefore, this orchestra has many great things. And actually, we share many of the musicians with the Columbus Symphony Orchestra too. Many of the players that are here in Bloomington Symphony are playing with us on October 22nd. Therefore, very interesting also knowing that you are also part of this group. Yeah. And Barak, tell us a little bit about your story. How you ended up in music, where do you grow up, all of that.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Indianapolis, so central Indiana. Grew up on the northeast side in Lawrence. Went to Lawrence Central for high school. So I started playing trombone in sixth grade, which would have been in like 2007 or something like that. And I knew that I wanted to play trombone because I watched the film version of The Music Man, and I saw the trombones and the parade sequence, and I was like, oh, that's what I want to do. So I picked that up, and I wasn't very good at it for the first like 4 years of doing it. But once I got into freshman year, the directors at Lawrence Central were very good at what they do, and I became a much better trombonist. Now, sophomore year, I picked up euphonium, so I play euphonium as well, and also tuba. And sophomore year was also the year that I picked up bass trombone because the jazz ensemble needed it, and I got decently good at that. Let's see, in 2015, I marched my age out season of drum and bugle corps with the Blue Stars Drum and Bugle Corps. Let's see, what else did I do? In 2019, I did a Cincinnati Tradition, which is a drum corps associates drum corps, so an all age group with everyone ranging from 12 to, we had a 70-year-old. And then in 2020, I enlisted in the Army National Guard, also as a bass trombonist, which I currently do. Let's see, community groups, I've been in plenty. I frequently perform with the Greater Greenwood Community Band, mostly on tuba because that's generally what they need. Like I said earlier, I joined Columbus last year on trombone and then trumpet, and now back on trombone. And I currently am the principal euphonium for the Indiana Wind Symphony, which is based up here in Indianapolis, and we perform probably 8 or so concerts at the Palladium at the Center for the Performing Arts up in Carmel. And I had my first performance as a principal euphonium last week on Sunday.
Wow. Congrats! That's awesome.
Yep.
Congratulations! Yeah, wow, you are very. That's interesting that you tell me all of that, because for the people that hasn't been in the rehearsals, I remember last rehearsal we didn't have the tuba, And there was a part, very important part in the danzón that we needed the tuba because of very important. And I started to listen the tuba, and I was, what is happening here? What I am listening to? And was Barak playing the part of the tuba very well. And it reminded me when I was doing my bachelor degree, I started conducting also, and we didn't have a full orchestra. It was a very small university that was good for us because it was very personalized, but for a conductor, we didn't have the full orchestra. Therefore, we have to do similar things like me as viola, I was playing the cello, the violin, playing the piano, the wind parts and all of that. And it reminded me the same kind of experience that I had in last rehearsals with you playing that, and also remember that you play trumpet and all of that. That's so amazing. In the Columbus Symphony Orchestra, we are very lucky to have you there because that's very important that you understand all of that. And for me, this interview is very, very interesting because the audience probably already knows some of that information, but we are gonna do it a very, very special piece that is called in the program Columbus piece. And today is the official moment when we are gonna share the name. We are doing variations on a Quaker theme by Follas. But let me tell you about how we selected the piece, because that's very, very unique. The idea was to select a piece that actually talks about Columbus and central Indiana. What we can do about that, which kind of music can do. And in the middle of the process of the selection, we had a very sad news that one of our bassists, Andy, actually died. And of course, the full orchestra was very, very sad about that. And immediately the piece becomes clear for every single one. I remember that they selected, all of you selected the piece actually. Totally new piece for me. I've been trying to analyze and research and all of that. We are going to start rehearsals on Tuesday actually about this piece. But it is very interesting because it gives us two important things to think. First of all, and I am going to talk more with you about that, that is the element of what is Columbus and what is central Indiana. And the second element is about the concept of variation. We had one of the members of the bases, Andy, that passed away, but the Columbus Symphony Orchestra keeps going and keeps evolving, and there is new people in the orchestra, and this is very exciting for us because we are in the same thing, the same music, but it's evolving and evolving. And that's what we are going to see in the concert in this specific piece. It's variations. We are going to have a same musical theme that evolves with time, that evolves as our orchestra evolves. But the other thing that I was talking, the first one, is about understanding what is central Indiana. For me, I've been living here 5 years in Bloomington mostly, but you both are from here, are from central Indiana. Therefore, let me ask you, what do you believe is very, very unique about this place and actually deserves to be broadcasted? What do you think is very unique? Stephanie?
I was going to see if Brock wanted to jump in. Yeah, well, first I'll say, I don't know, does Columbus count as central Indiana? I feel like there's always a debate about like, is it south central Indiana or is it central Indiana? I don't know. Okay. I have like always considered it like south central, but that's like technicality. Like central Indiana, I imagine as like Indianapolis and that like donut ring of suburbs around. And I don't imagine, or I mean, it's fine. I like this is all technicality.
I don't know, but it's really interesting actually, seeing how you see your cities, because you are a farmer too. Therefore, that counts as central, right?
Yeah. Columbus, I think I can I'll speak to like what I feel like Columbus is and what makes Columbus. it's like such a unique place. And like I moved to Columbus largely by, like, I know I mentioned my job lives here, but or is here, but I also like there was a good amount of my job that had like choice in like where I wanted to work. And Columbus is like a unique intersection of what a lot of small towns in Indiana are like, which is like, you know, working class roots. A lot of folks in this town were like brought into this town because of come-ins in the past decades. And whether they like now work as engineers or like worked in the factories and on the ground, a lot of this town has been shaped by this like large institution in Columbus, for better or worse. And a lot of it has been for better. And it's like also brought in, so it's like brought in a lot of life, a lot of investment in our community that like other towns like immediately surrounding don't have. So like for that, I think we're uniquely situated as like really pushing ahead and investing in our in our town. I also think like there's a lot of culture that it brings. Like it they've done they really focus on like bringing in talent from across, not just across the state, but across the country and across the world. So we see like a lot of people from all different walks of life in Columbus, like folks who are from, I mean, both from like central Indiana, like myself, but also like people from like India and China and like Ecuador and like places, like it's recruiting talent from all across the country to invest in this like 50,000 people town, right? So I really think like it's the people that are in Columbus that make it really special, and the direction that we're moving towards, which is like, how do we take Columbus and like continue to invest in our town, but also make it a place where like all of us, both newcomers and people that have lived here for generations, can like live and thrive here. So I think like we're really uniquely situated in that way.
Okay, that's very, very interesting. Thank you for sharing that. For me, it's also very interesting to know about how people that live there sees their city. That is very important, because as an orchestra, we are the representatives of the city, and we are serving them. Therefore, that's very important.
And I'll say like part of my job is like working with poor and working class people in Columbus. Like because of my job, I like interact with like a group of folks in Columbus that I don't have like specific, you know, evidence to back this up, but like just seeing who comes to our concerts, a lot of the folks are it's like really skewed. Our demographics are like very skewed, and I don't think that's just for Columbus. I think that maybe is like representative of like music in general and classical music in general.
Yes.
So yeah, that's like just like an interesting tension, because like I think all of us, no matter like our economic situation, what kind of jobs we work, like we all deserve to have like joy in life, not just to like survive and get by, but like to thrive. And a big part of that is like joy and community, and like music is a part of that.
Yeah, that's totally true what you say. Something that we have in the orchestra field that is really bad, and in the full performing arts field, is that we are a club from a socio-economic perspective, that just few people can access that, and that is huge problem that we are trying to solve. And part of that thing is precisely that, knowing about our city, knowing that we have to represent our city. That's why we are doing a very diverse concert, as you notice. There is music from Mexico, from India, from Russia, from Columbus, and from Colombia too, because we are very diverse, and the music is for all of us. That's what we are also doing this free talk, in order that you a potential audience member, know that you are welcome here. Is your music what is going to sound? Is your culture what is going to sound? And Baraka, tell us a little bit your perspective. How do you see Columbus, Central, South Central Indiana? What is your view?
Well, I can't really speak on Columbus since I'm not from there and I don't live there. I still live up in Indianapolis, and I make that hour-long commute. But in terms of like Central Indiana, and like the job I work full time, I know I don't really work in like the music field per se, other than my few ensembles that I'm in. But there is, as Stephanie was saying, there is a very large like multinational community in the state of Indiana, which being from Indianapolis, I see that all the time. Then there's little sectors of downtown that kind of I wouldn't say cater to different cultures, but have become cultural centers. But yeah, and we I'm just kind of gonna go into like what I do for work. Is I see Indiana has a big veteran population, as well as most of the Midwest, and so I interact with all sorts of people through their veterans and loved ones who have served the country. But it's not really has anything to do with music or this concert cycle per se. It's just I've interacted with a lot of that. Now, in terms of this particular piece of music, I know that there is or was historically a large Quaker population in the Midwest. Most of them were from Pennsylvania, and then they moved to the Midwest. And I'm sure that I wasn't really familiar with Andy too much because I've only been in the group for one single year. But we chose this piece based on, his heritage. So, and I can't really follow up too much on what Stephanie said because she kind of covered that the Central Indiana topic very well.
Yeah, no, but that's very interesting what you talk also, because there is an element that not many people knows, that Columbus Symphony Orchestra is the oldest orchestra of the full Indiana state. In a way, it represents Indiana too. Therefore, having this element, as you say, Barak, that Indiana is a very international state also. We have so many things. But there is also a traditional element about the Quaker influence and all of that. Therefore, that's part of what we are seeing in the music also. It's the Quaker theme, but it's influenced by so many international elements around. And we are going to see that in the concert. One question for Stephanie is about what do you like or what do you expect audience experience in our concert? What you are waiting for?
It's a good question. What would I want the audience to experience at the concert? Or expect them? I think we have such a wide selection of music this time, like from cumbia all the way to Tchaikovsky. Like it's just gonna be, it's like a wide variation. And I'd be curious to know more about like your thought process on selections of the pieces, because I don't think I've heard it before. But I think honestly, it's just like expect fun. Like some of the pieces are like super freaking fun. Expect like good music. I'm excited to play the symphony. And just expect some fun and good music and like of like a wide array of diversity of music.
Yeah, I never shared with all of you what was the thought behind, but when I was preparing the repertory, I was talking with many people in the orchestra, and understanding what is Indiana actually, who was Columbus. That's why this interview is very important. And something that came up is what we were talking with Barack right now, that is, we are a very international state, and Columbus has many, many cultures around that sadly not every single time has the opportunity to be part of the orchestra. And this is sad because they are part of the orchestra. We are represented the folk community. Therefore, in that sense, I started to think about pieces that can represent different cultures in a way that even going outside my comfort zone. As you will listen, we are doing Indian music. I don't know anything about Indian music previously. Now I know, and that's very exciting for me. We are doing a Smile. And also the Quaker music is also very, very new for me. I am learning a lot. And that's amazing because we are learning about each other. And that's part of the thing that we are trying to create. Finally, I want to ask you, Barack, what are your expectations for the concert? What do you want the audience experience and your colleagues in the orchestra?
So I want the audience to experience like as Stephanie was saying, this is a like very, you know, multicultural experience that I'm sure not everyone has experienced before with, as you were saying earlier, you know, like the Arvatan, which is you know, Indian piece, and the cumbia that we're playing, and getting that romantic Russia experience with Tchaikovsky, which of course is my personal favorite. I think for this cycle, because Tchaikovsky low brass, like he loved like low brass section. All of his works, for like his symphonic works. Let's see, the Nutcracker has a lot of low brass moments. We played Romeo and Juliet, and that has some amazing low brass stuff. Yeah. But the experience that I want the audience to have, and also, you know, my colleagues in the orchestra to have, is this sense of, you know, like a cultural like melting pot essentially with these different pieces, you know, and they, you know they can learn from this that, you know, you can still enjoy and also perform these different musical styles no matter wherever you're from, or, you know, what your upbringing is, or your like education level or anything like that. You don't have to have a degree in music performance to be a good musician and to be able to play these pieces, which is fairly true for I'm sure for a big selection of the group, is that most of them don't have degrees. You know, I sure don't. I don't have a degree, and I'm doing my best, honestly. So I want the audience to enjoy this concert, because honestly, I enjoy this concert because you don't usually get the opportunity to play so many different types of music. Usually it's like you'll play like Beethoven and like Mozart in the same concert, and it's like, that's two Austrian dudes, you know, like, great. But if you're playing like an Indian piece, which I've never heard before until we started rehearsing it, and this Quaker piece, like, I've never really played anything like that before. So it's going to be a great experience. I think everyone's going to enjoy it, both the audience and the performers.
Yeah, you say two very, very amazing things that I want the audience to actually understand. We don't need any kind of knowledge to experience music and to enjoy music and to enjoy different types of music. It's just experience. We, the ones that we are playing, we need to know. That's a different thing. That's why we rehearse for a lot of you. That's what myself as conductor, I have to do it, of course. But you, the audience, just go and enjoy. That's the first thing. And the second one, being a musician is way much more than a degree. Being a musician is have passion for what you are doing. Have passion to prepare very well in the rehearsals, previously to the rehearsals, and in the concert, give your best to give to the audience an amazing experience. That's why music is so amazing. It's about the experience, it's about the energy. And that's why we want you all to be there in order you can experience that with us, because we also need you, audience member, in order we do an amazing concert all together. Thank you so much, Barak. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for this time. See you soon in the rehearsals and see you all in the concert. Bye-bye.